Full-time scores in this quarter-final FA Cup match between West Ham United and Leeds United is finished. West Ham United 2, Leeds United 2. After West Ham United scored 2 late goals in the 11 minutes of the added time to the second half. They actually scored on the 93rd minute and on the 97th minute, leaving the scoreline at 2-2 at the end of 90 minutes regulation time. The match stretched into extra time and the penalties were taken, and Leeds won by 4 goals to 2. Quickly, let me start by talking about the penalties, and I want to start with Jarrod Bowen. Jarrod Bowen, you really let your fans down this evening, and you really let everyone down this evening. You are the captain of the team, and you are like the leader of the team, and you have been given an enormous responsibility, to take the first penalty for your side, convert it, and set a standard that will act like a morale booster for guys that will come behind you to play their penalty and score their penalty as well. But you lost the penalty, and you are a very good penalty taker. I don't know why you lose this penalty. I understand that the game of penalty is a 50-50 thing. It's a game of luck, but you're a good penalty taker. Anybody that wants to take the first penalty for any team should be very confident, should be sure of himself. Should be a very good penalty taker that will, score at all means. Although the guys that played behind you also have their chance as well to convert, but then the first penalty in any penalty shooter matters a lot. After that young star, I've saved the first penalty for you guys. All you need to do is go out there and slot in the first one. It's not as if you did not play very well. You played very well during the match. It was even your strike, that led to the first goal where Matheus Fernandes converted. You had a whole lot of shots on goal. You contributed very well in the match. Let me leave that one. Let's go into the match proper, and let's talk about Nuno Espirito Santo. And let's talk about his formation today. Nuno Espirito Santo, he started the central defense, with Alex Disasi and Max Kilman. I just want to believe that Dino Mavropanos and Todibo are still injured. That's why you didn't start them from the beginning. That is understandable by me, if that is the case. Now, in the midfield, I expected to see Thomas Tuchel start in the midfield as the box-to-box, defensive midfielder. I saw Potts there. Potts played very well. Freddie Potts played very well. But at that point in time, we need experience. We need, the best legs. I'm not saying Freddie Potts did not play very well. He played very well. He gave a good account of himself. UPR, Magasa, and Matheus Fernandes, with Potts playing in between them as the box-to-box defensive midfielder, which I expected Souček to start that match. At the right fullback, you started with Kai Walker-Peters, which I also expected to see Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I don't know what is wrong with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but Kai Walker-Peters played very well. He even converted his penalty. After Jarrod Bowen lost the first penalty, he stepped in and he converted his penalty. He played very well, and although he bagged the yellow card, he played very well on the overall. At the left fullback, you use Elhadji Diouf, and at the right wing, of course, says Jarrod Bowen, your captain. Left wing, you use Adama Traore, and Adama Traore really, burst my bubbles tonight. He really gave a very good account of it. He played very well, and his assist led to the second goal that Alex Disasi converted. Up front, you top strike with Tati Cassiano. Tati Cassiano was caught offside like 3 to 4 times. He only had 3 shots on goal. I've always been saying that Tati Cassiano's, me, I don't really have that, 100% confidence in Tati Cassiano's. He has failed to, deliver. In his last 11 games, I think he has only scored 1 or 2 times since January that he was bought from Lazio. I don't know. I've probably been saying it. You don't wait for full chance. If not for those late 2 goals, that we got during the added 11 minutes to the second half, the match would have ended 2-0 when Tati Cassianos had a whole lot of chances, to put West Ham back into that game. Thanks to those 2 goals that came, the match wouldn't have stretched even into extra time. Leeds would have won that match 2 goals to nothing at regulation time. Now, quickly, let's go into the substitutions. During as the second half of the match was starting, you introduced Thomas Tuchel. You pull out Freddie Potts. You brought in Thomas Tuchel. You pull out Magasa. You introduce Pablo, hoping that Pablo will pair Tati Castellanos up front or play behind me, and they will form a very good combination up front. Later you pulled out Elijah Diouf and you introduced Oli Scarls. Later you pulled out injured Areola because he's injured, and you introduced the youngster Henrik, the youngster goalkeeper Henrik. Adama Traore, you pulled him out, and you introduced Meyers, and up front you pulled out Tati Castellanos and you introduced Kante. These are your substitutions for the night. It's not that they didn't play very well. All of them played very well. Like I've said, the game of penalty is a game of luck. It's a 50-50 game. They all tried. I think the issue of we want to play in the FA Cup, we want to go to the semi-final, we want to do this one, is all over now. That dream has been cut short now. It's going to be a case of come next year and try your luck in the FA Cup. I think now they will now focus on the Premier League. They will now focus on how they can avoid relegation. Now they are out of all other competitions. Only now they will face the Premier League and see how they can avoid relegation, move up the ladder, stay up, and avoid playing the second tier of English football come next season. Guys, I will stop here now, and I will see you in the next one, and I wish you guys the very best. Bye for now.